Okay, here we come to another episode of On Point EDC. Today we have another cool custom pen to review for you guys. This time from Modern Fuel. I have featured a couple of their pieces here in the past in terms of their mechanical pencil as well as their click pen. This is one of their newest offerings, and it is a bolt action pen, which if you guys are fans of the channel, you know that is something that definitely speaks to me. So I really did appreciate them reaching out and offering me this review unit so that I could check it out. But just so you guys know, this was sent in by them. A little bit about the brand: they were founded by Andrew Sanderson, who was born and raised in the United Kingdom. These are now U.S. manufactured out of Austin, Texas, which a lot of some of my favorites custom titanium pens are coming out of. So that's a very fun coincidence there. And if you go to their pages in terms of Modern Fuel, you'll see a lot posted about their story, their values, their design principles, and one of the things that I think is really interesting about their messaging is they really have no illusions about being the cheapest or most attainable. They really make an effort to contend that they are the finest writing tools on the market. So the fact that they're that confident, especially with, kind of a younger brand, I think it says a lot. They definitely are very passionate, and they have a very interesting design aesthetic, which I'm happy to share with you guys here today. So a little bit about this type of product. I consider it, of course, a custom pen. Some key common characteristics and design language. When you're looking for something like this, you're going to want that unique design language, and then of course there's that level of fun kind of fidgetable actuation, and then you're going to want premium materials and construction. Now when it comes to kind of all those points, I think they're, the Modern Fuel bolt action pen really fits within that space. So with all that said, let's go ahead, zoom the camera out, get this piece in hand, and take a closer look. All right, now before we jump all the way in, quick wristwatch check here, guys. Citizen Pro Master Land. This is a Japanese domestic JDM model only, so when it comes to the radio signal updates, you are going to have to get a phone emulator, which they're free, and it's a very simple process. But in terms of setting it to this kind of perfect quartz accuracy and taking advantage of that Echo Drive power source and everything, it does take some extra work, but I think it's very rewarding. The thing that makes it kind of a cool pairing with this piece is because it's titanium, and this whole watch is titanium. So very nice, and a little bit different, off the beaten path in terms of what you kind of expect to see from the channel. And this is a little bit off the beaten path in terms of the way that it addresses a titanium bolt action pen. So check this thing out, guys. Let the camera focus there. It is a very, very handsome piece. It is very finely machined, as you can see, almost to the level where some of you are probably wondering, like, hey, can you actually grip that? And I can grip it very well. If it had some type of thicker or any type of patterning here, any level of knurling, it would be very cool. But I think that would kind of clash with the aesthetic, and the aesthetic here is that this thing is just smooth, guys. This is a smooth, just everything about it is sleek, tapered, and trim. The action on it is absolute butter. And then you can see there's actually, it reminds me a bit of a watch crown in terms of the grip there. It looks a lot like a watch crown, so that's really cool. My watch crown here, if you guys want to put a comparison, in this case it's knurled, but this definitely, the kind of gear tooth pattern is also very popular on watches. Let me see if I can grab one off camera real quick. Something like this Hamilton, check that out. Yeah, right. So that's, again, this has a little crossover appeal, which is nice. And then I guess if you really wanted to, you could almost make it a two-way actuation, but really all you need to do is this. And then the nice thing is, man, it's smooth. It is absolute butter. So, and another thing is this thing is really lightweight. You'd be surprised, but a lot of titanium pens have heft to them, and that's because they're using thicker barrels and whatnot, and they honestly go out of their way to feel very substantial within their execution. Here, although it does feel substantial, maybe due to the length, it is a little bit longer, and you know, you can see that it doesn't have a pocket clip, so it's really not meant necessarily for kind of that EDC style. This is more something that goes great tucked in a notebook, or at your desk. Oh man, it's sleek. You're gonna hear me keep saying that. So I guess let me read off some of the details here. There's free US shipping, 100-year warranty, and this is 100% metal. That's right. So there's not like this is hiding some cheaper components or anything like that inside of a really nice luxurious exterior. Inside is actually quite luxurious as well. And then these are not cheap. Let's throw that out there. But you know, Modern Fuel, they're not really trying to be cheap. This is $200, you know, direct from them, and that's in this titanium build. You can get them for $150 in stainless steel or copper. I would say because of how light this is, I think the stainless steel might be, you know, a cool deal as well. Although, you know, being a fan of titanium and the hypoallergenic nature and just the kind of the TI of it all, I dig that. So for me, I prefer the titanium. There's also a titanium pencil that I reviewed not too long ago. As you can see here, this one has the little kind of removable clipped on there, but it's a really cool, they make cool stuff. And then let me quickly, here's the pen in bronze, the click again with the smoothness, the in-house feel. I mean, they do things really well. So, and then it's nice to see them kind of evolve into something that now is going to add a little bit more fidget factor. And you know, let's face it, guys, bolt action pens are on trend. There are some very cool and some very expensive bolt action titanium pens out there, especially if they are machined here in the United States. Now, in terms of getting into the materials and everything like that and the finish, solid construction, very well finished, you know, and it does have in-house mechanisms, so there's nothing off the shelf. They're just buying something and then they're utilizing it here. This is all stuff that they've engineered, which is great in terms of the dimensions. 5.4 inches long with a 9.2 millimeter thickness, and then the weight on here is only 0.8 ounces, and that's in titanium. The other ones would be of course heavier depending on the materials that you choose. In terms of in-hand ergonomics, very smooth and balanced, and then of course again very light action because it's very smooth. Some of you that want something a little bit more positive and kind of more tactile in terms of that actuation, you might not, this might be a little soft for you, but it's kind of like with pocket knives, right, where it can be a little subjective. Some people like things that are really snappy, some people like things that are really smooth, and then as everybody's kind of in the middle of, hey, it's the same thing also with dive watch bezels in terms of kind of, you know, how clicky do you want them to be, but how smooth do you want it to actuate. So here it's a little bit on the lighter side. You know, if they used a heavier spring, it might give you a little bit more feedback, but this is really smooth, and I think the light action for me resonates well with the light pen, in the fact that it's relatively thin, and it is, you know, relatively light as well in hand. I will say if I shake it a bit, there is a little bit of play, it sounds like, on that tip slightly, where I can, well, actually when the tip's out, there's no play. So from the writing experience, it's absolutely fine, but when the tip is in, I'd say if you can hear that, just a little bit there. Again, that's if I just, as a reviewer, I have to get really nitpicky, and you know, that's something. Is it a big deal? No, it's a deal. Yes, for some, maybe. So the nice thing is that the thinner profile gives it a really nice kind of in-hand feeling, a lot closer to a more traditional pen, just a lot more premium feeling. And I mean a lot more premium feeling. Holy smokes, this is just, it feels good. And then, you know, in terms of your experience as you touch and interact with it as an object, but it also is just, I mean, when you look at it and you look at the machining here and the finishing, even if you get into the details here, look at the beveling and chamfering in the opening, look at the sharpness here, the execution, the tightness, little tiny bit of play, but that also, I'm sure, helps it be very smooth and quiet, because if you made it you know, too tight in there, then you'd be hearing a lot of grinding and scraping. So there's a trade-off, right? And yeah, this is their trade-off on this was I mean, this thing is just, it's titanium in the way that a lot of people perceive titanium, which is to be light, feathery, you know, very smooth, and just, you know, again, something that is really known for having the strength with the weight reduction, which is very, very cool. Now, again, I can't really say this has an in-pocket kind of carry, because it's definitely a less pocketable design with the lack of a pocket clip. In terms of model variations, you can get it in copper, bronze, stainless steel, or this titanium. In terms of comparable models, there are definitely a few standout $100+ US machined pens on the market, and I've featured them pretty much all on this channel. And in terms of all the different iterations, this is quite a bit more expensive than those options. So it's really up to you. I see value in this piece. I own those other ones that, and I love them. I find them to be quite iconic. But if you want something a little bit different, I mean, there's a lot to love here, guys. There's definitely a lot to appreciate. Maybe not as much street cred in terms of, you know, within kind of that space, just because there are some of those kind of key players right around that price range that do come out of Texas. But I will say when you go to the web page, this is, you know, I'd say in terms of the product matching kind of the brand perception, they do a really good job of aligning those two things: elevated brand, elevated product. Some of those other ones are definitely meant to, I think they speak more so to people that are already kind of indoctrinated into this market, where they're already into pocket knives, very much into you know, EDC and machined, tactile interaction, actuation, fidgetable items, and everything like that. For me, what Modern Fuel does, I think, really well is that they really speak to just purveyors of you know, solid quality, luxury level goods. So this is something just for, hey, I like nice things, I like premium things. You might like this, and you don't necessarily have to be into the hobby. So I think that's something, that's another thing that sets them apart, makes them a little bit different from that standpoint, and gives them, you know, a bit of a competitive edge, maybe when compared to some more, I guess, more mainstream options. But those options became mainstream for a reason. People dig them, like me, and they buy them and review them, and, you know, which is great. So the bottom line here, guys, equally polished between the branding and the product, which is nice, and it definitely appears many are willing to pay the premium to get these products in hand because they're actually seem to be pretty popular. And I will make a quick little shot here for the packaging, which again I think is a little bit different in comparison to some of the other products out there. Here you can see some of the tools there, essentially a little wrench, so you can unscrew this piece here, and then a different spacer for different inserts, so you can have them in different lengths. I honestly, extra spring, extra spring. So there's a lot here. This is a very cool setup, and I gotta say, yeah, I think it's cool. So for those of you that are looking for something, that is cool, check out Modern Fuel. Yeah, I don't know, I dig it, guys. So with that said, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you like the video, please hit like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks, guys.